the capital injection that goes into digital assets ecosystem as a result of stables is enormous. I think that you're looking at probably an industry going to 15, $20 trillion because what this does is it establishes really the foundation for all the exciting things that we've dreamed of. Tokenized public securities, 24/7 markets. If you want to access US capital markets, you're going to have to use a dollar-backed stable. And this is what positions the United States to be the global leader. And in reality, we should be pushing this change. We should be at the forefront of adoption of digital asset financial technology and really leading the charge globally in that. It'll protect the U.S. economy. It'll certainly create innovation here in the United States, and that's something we should all be excited about.
Hey, what's going on, Bull Runners? Welcome back to the channel. Imagine this. You are sitting on a gold mine of crypto opportunities, but one wrong move or missing one key piece of news could cost you big time. Well, the crypto market is moving fast right now, and if you're not paying attention, obviously you could miss out on life-changing updates. I'm talking about billion-dollar valuations, game-changing legislation, and even whispers about Bitcoin's mysterious creator. Yes, that's right. In today's video, we're diving deep into the hottest crypto news that's blowing up the market, from Southeast Asia's biggest bank dropping a massive valuation on Ripple to rumors about a 14-year-old Bitcoin wallet tied to Satoshi himself. And these stories are shaking things up. Plus, we'll unpack why the United States is calling this upcoming week Crypto Week and what it means for you and your portfolio. So stick with me, because it is the kind of information that you could use to make or break your next trade. And here's the kicker. If you stick with me until the end, I'm letting you in on an exclusive sneak peek into a secret crypto community that's buzzing with insider tips. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. It's like getting the key to a hidden treasure chest. Plus, we'll be heading over to X to find out all the breaking news in the crypto world today. We're also going to be diving deep into the Bitcoin that's subject to rumors of 80,000 Bitcoin suddenly reactivated after 14 years. And we'll deep dive into Crypto Week. U.S. Republican leaders say that the House will look to pass bills on stablecoins, crypto market structure, and CBDCs in mid-July in what they've dubbed Crypto Week. And we'll be jumping over into TradingView and checking in on XRP, looking at the most important resistance and support levels. Plus, we'll be looking at the long-term and short-term momentum waves, and so much more in today's video. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the crypto news like we do for you here on this channel every day, make sure you subscribe right now. And if you are still feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down in the comments section. So first up, let's check out the overall health of the crypto market today. Market cap, total market cap coming in at 3.32 trillion. And as you heard in the beginning of the video, as we kicked it off, Executive Director Bo Hines tells Mara CEO that crypto industry could hit 15 to $20 trillion once stablecoin legislation is passed. So keep that in mind where we're at right now. That is a 5x from 3 trillion times 5, 15 plus trillion dollar market cap coming soon. We did have $97 billion worth of volume traded in the last 24 hours. Fear and Greed Index coming in at 55, so it's still in the neutral zone. Altcoin Season Index is still full Bitcoin season. Bitcoin dominance still leading the charge, over 64% at 64.7%. Bitcoin dominance, as you can see right here, has been on an absolute tear for dominance to the upside since November 27th. Bitcoin ETF update numbers right here. July 2nd reports $600 million worth of inflows in a single day. Very positive for Bitcoin. Now, we did have a massive down day for this week, but that brings our total this week to $769 million worth of inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. And the reason I track the Bitcoin ETFs, a lot of people have been talking about how retail is no longer interested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto at all. But one thing I need you to keep in mind here, ladies and gentlemen, these ETFs are not the treasuries of companies buying them. Typically, these ETFs are being bought by people who do traditional trading, retail trading through their investment firm. They're still scared to buy crypto on the market and hold it on their own third-party custodian wallets, such as Coinbase or Kraken, or even very scared, they won't ever try to hold it on a cold storage wallet, but they would very much be excited about being involved in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins. And the way they do that is through buying the ETFs. They do get direct exposure to crypto. Speaking of ETFs, take a look at this. This daily move was massive for Ethereum, $148 million worth of inflows to Ethereum. That is the second largest inflows in the last 30 days in a single day. Last largest inflow, the number one largest, was 240 million. So when you zoom out and you look at the weekly charts here, as you can see, we've had nothing but inflows to Ethereum ETF, meaning people are buying Ethereum, just not on crypto exchanges as you would normally see back in the day. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks in a row of Ethereum inflows. Now, can you imagine what is going to happen when the XRP ETFs are finally approved? Let me know down in the comments section. Do you think it's going to make the price of XRP go up or go down? Head over to BullRunners on X.com. We do give away $100 of XRP every single week. Congratulations to Pat with a bunch of numbers for winning our previous XRP giveaway. It's very easy to win. All you have to do is follow us on BullRunners HQ here on X, like, retweet, and comment XRP below the video, and then subscribe to our daily crypto newsletter by clicking the button here. It takes you to our free ebook as well, Altcoin Secrets, the underground guidebook to becoming a crypto millionaire. All you have to do is click the orange tab here, enter your best email, click the orange button again, and you are all set. All right, huge news for Ripple here, and then it will obviously trickle down into XRP, but Southeast Asia's largest bank, DBS, values Ripple at $11.3 billion. The IPO is expected in 2026. Now, there is some rumors that this is going to happen. However, we do know Brad Garlinghouse has come out on his own multiple times and said that he's not going to be doing an actual IPO. But is he telling the truth, or is he just trying to keep it on the down low? And Ripple's potential IPO, as speculated, could be a landmark event with historical data from Access IPOs noting its valuation spiked post-2024 election, yet its inclusion of XRP's assets remains unclear. So will their escrow be included in their valuation? Fueling debates about the true market cap established at $150 billion by some analysts due to the escrow holdings. So if Ripple goes public with an IPO, I am definitely going to be getting in on that stock. Let me know down below, would you be interested in a Ripple stock if they IPO? And speaking of Bitcoin, when I woke up this morning, the craziest news happened. Obviously, this wallet that's potentially connected to Satoshi, still no one knows. Turns out that there was 8 wallets connected to the same person, did 8 transactions of 10,000 Bitcoin, transferring over $8 billion today. And there were no test transactions, which is absolutely nuts. So let's cover this here. But before we jump into that, take a look at this. Bitcoin whales have dumped over 500,000 Bitcoin worth $50 billion this past year, while institutions absorbed 900,000 Bitcoin, signaling a control shift in the Bitcoin market per Bloomberg. So is Bitcoin going to be decentralized still, or are these mega corporations accumulating all of it and going to create a pseudo technocracy through Bitcoin? And on top of all those crazy transfers, Satoshi Nakamoto also just received to its specific Satoshi Nakamoto wallet 20,000. So someone donated $20,000 in Bitcoin to Satoshi's wallet. A dormant wallet wakes up that's been inactive for 14 years, transferred 10,000 Bitcoin. Whale Alerts was absolutely on fire this morning, documenting each one of these transfers as it was happening. Who bought 80,000 Bitcoin? This is from back in the day. Was it a miner? Because it's kind of random that these wallets had 10,000 each, but multiple wallets, likely controlled by a single individual, have been activated after more than a decade, all within 24 hours. The coins have been moved to a fresh address, pointing unmistakably to what appears to be the largest over-the-counter deal the market has ever seen. A whale of this size doesn't broadcast intentions to sell by lighting up dormant wallets all at once, unless it was planned, strategic, surgical, and already done behind the closed doors. Something big just happened. That's correct. The real question now is who's buying $8 billion worth of Bitcoin? Well, you know, there is this little bill that got signed today, and there was a bill that got signed or executive order that got signed a little while ago stating that there was going to be a Bitcoin strategic reserve. What if some of the money that was allocated into the big, beautiful bill ended up buying $8 billion worth of Bitcoin So Bitcoin price did lose nearly 2% after 14-year-old coins suddenly move on chain. Explanations include an unsubstantiated claim linking the Bitcoin wallets to Satoshi Nakamoto. Price comes for Bitcoin longs as a result, with shorts massing above $110,000. And speaking of the Bitcoin price today, on the 4th of July, if you were not paying attention, remember July 4th of 2020 when XRP hit 1776 cents, gold hit $1,776, silver hit $17.76, and XLM hit the reserve of 1776, or the reverse rather, 0.6771. Well, Bitcoin hit this morning $107,760. Happy 4th of July. Now, why is this number important? Well, the United States, 4th of July, comes at 1776, the establishment of the United States. How is this simulation working this so well? Like, this is absolutely nuts. Obviously, this is all programmed in some sort of way, but $107,760, the price of Bitcoin today on 4th of July. Also, the craziness, the back and forth, the arguing, the this, the that, the votes, the this, the that, and the bill of the big, beautiful bill gets passed officially yesterday and signed. When? 4th of July, Independence Day. How does this all happen on the days that it's supposed to happen on? And one of the best posts, in my personal opinions, that came out today through all of this news, you know, the final Bitcoin billionaire address just moved 1.1 billion, then it became 8 billion. But take a look at this. You know how people have been LARPing around over a decade that Bitcoin is not private? That you need Monero or Zcash to keep your anonymity when it comes to dealing with crypto. But then somebody sends $8.6 billion and nobody on earth can tell who it is. Nobody knows who this person is that actually sent it. Now, what is interesting, this is a good point here, right? Airmass makes a very good point saying that on the surface, nobody knows who this is. However, this person is potentially tracked to where they are going to have to pay taxes on this $8.6 billion. Now, what's also interesting, they have not sold the $8.6 billion officially on an exchange. They could have just simply moved the coins and still maintaining the coins somewhere else. But if they sold it, there's going to be capital gains tax, which makes me wonder why they would do it right now when there's potential in the future that there will be no capital gains on crypto and Bitcoin, which is why I'm thinking when I was going through my head and I was evaluating this situation, like if you moved $8 billion and you had to pay $4 billion in taxes, unless you already were planning on making this move and you were no longer living in the United States, you could have moved 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago to a country that doesn't have a crypto tax, so you'd pay no capital gains living there. That's a potential. Or maybe there was an agreement made that through the sale of these tokens to the United States for their Bitcoin strategic reserve, that there would be no tax involved in that. So lots of weird things going on. It's still all a mystery, but this is a great point. No one knows who this person is. So it is literally and anonymously, you know? So good point there from Airmass as well. And on top of all this, the craziness is connecting back to potentially Ripple, because Satoshi's last known message was in April of 2011. May of 2011, David Schwartz starts building the XRP ledger. August of 2011, Arthur Brito joins Twitter. And now, 14 years later, Brito appears. Remember, Arthur Brito just did this random post just recently, finally, after 14 years of being away from X. And then 14-year-old dormant wallets on Bitcoin wallets just moved. XRP is the final version of Bitcoin. So here's another crazy mystery. What if Arthur Brito was the one holding all of those crypto tokens, the Bitcoin tokens that were just transferred, and they're going to be transferred to what though, right? Why would Arthur Brito be transferring those now? Is he selling them? Is he still going to continue to hold them? But the interesting thing, the post that Arthur Brito did do on his X.com account was a smiley face with no face. And that is also being attached now to the bearable guy 123, and all of his posts where he has the king person, the king character. It also is a face with no mouth. Again, here's another image from the bearable guy, the king with no mouth. Now he does have a beard, but usually you would have some sort of mouth. Look, all of his characters have a mouth, even the robot. We go back to the scene of playing poker. No mouth. You go on and on and on. All of the images on Bearable Guy 123, the king has no mouth. So is it potential that the king in this character would be Arthur Brito? Then we also have the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto. Now we know that Arthur Brito lives. We know that David Schwartz knows who he is. We don't have any images of him, we being the general public. Maybe somebody out there, maybe one of you have seen him. No one has a picture of him posted on the internet. But then we also have Satoshi Nakamoto, no pictures. No one knows who he is. So two crazy mysterious figures that no one actually has seen. No one actually knows whether Satoshi is gone. What if Satoshi is Brito? What if Brito is Satoshi? And if that is the case, that would be absolutely nuts. Arthur Brito would probably be one of the richest people in the entire world when you combine Satoshi's Bitcoin holdings plus Brito's XRP holdings. Absolutely nuts as far as that goes. So as we know, all of these crazy transfers have been going on with Bitcoin. And what we see here, the ex-trading account Kingfisher observed a spike in so-called toxic order flow, transactions which would result in losses for market makers. He says that I'd expect it to retrace, maybe liquidate those high leverage shorts. Part of the post suggests is referring to a buildup of BTC short liquidity on exchange order books. So as you can see right here, the price with the candles has been coming down and dropping to this level down into the 107. But look at all of these shorts up in this level that need to be liquidated. You can see all of the longs. These people were long Bitcoin essentially. And well, prices came down and then stopped them out in their stop losses. Well, now look at all these people that are short Bitcoin up here. They have stop losses set all the way up into these levels. And in fact, when you take a look right here, inside, if Bitcoin hits $113,000, over 5 billion in short positions could be liquidated. And as you know, this market is run by market makers. Their job is to go up and eat up all the liquidity up and down, up and down. That's why the markets do what they do. So there is definitely a likelihood price recovers from this area, moves up into the 113 range, liquidates all of these longs, and then we would see another drop to the lows. And then also right now, Bitcoin going through this pattern here with a level of resistance above it, the level of support below it, creating a bull flag pattern, this being the flag pattern. We did break out of the level to the upside only to be then dropped back down. It says right here, if price daily closes above the diagonal line, then this could have ended up as a downside wick as part of a volatile retest. Upcoming daily close will be pivotal, and we'll take a look at the close here soon. Previously, other crypto market participants have repeatedly highlighted $108,000 as the level that the bulls need to hold going forward. So an absolute crazy morning this morning and throughout the day with the Bitcoin wallets transferring 80,000 Bitcoin after 14 years. Could you imagine buying Bitcoin or mining Bitcoin at that time for 78 cents each? That's right. So the very first wallet that went crazy this morning that transferred 10,000 Bitcoin at one time was a 1.09 billion. The wallet originally received these 10,000 Bitcoins when price was only 78 cents a Bitcoin. So could you imagine holding 14 years through all those crazy ups and downs, waiting for it to get to $100,000, and then you finally unleash and you become a billionaire over 14 years. Like you might say a billionaire overnight because you just sold it and the next morning you're rich. But the reality is it took 14 years. The other reality is what happened? Did this person just randomly find their wallet, their hard drive that all these coins were stored on? Did they just get out of jail and they were like, hey, I'm trying to get rich? Like, it's such a mystery. And I wonder if one day we'll find out what really happened. All right, so next week is going to be Crypto Week. Chairman French Hill, House GOP Chairman, Congressman GT, and House leadership announced this week, the July 14th, will be Crypto Week, where the Clarity Act, Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, and Genius Act will be considered. The Senate did pass the Genius Act with bipartisan support last month, meaning that if the House passes the bill as is, it'll be sent to Trump to sign into law. So we have the big, beautiful bill this week, then all the crypto bills next week. Trump would be on an absolute roll. It'd be phenomenal to get all these things passed back to back to back to back. Bo Hines said, congratulations to President Trump and the House for passing the big, beautiful bill, delivering tax cuts, securing the border, ending the tax on tips, making the American economy stronger than ever. Next up, Crypto Week. Genius heading to President Trump's desk. The Clarity Act, the phenomenally crafted market structure bill, is heading to the Senate. Clarity to the president's desk next week. And of course, the GOP aims to ban CBDCs. We do not want CBDCs. That's a central bank digital currency. And we know how the central bank is fighting with Trump right now through the Federal Reserve. The bill would prohibit the Federal Reserve from being able to test, develop, create, or issue digital currency in any form and stop the central bank from offering financial products directly to individuals. The bill was introduced by the last Congress by House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, but it expired at the end of Congress's term after it passed the House in May of 2024. Emmer revived that bill in the current Congress, and the House of Finance Committee passed its version of the bill in April, while the Senate version is still sitting in the Chamber's Banking Committee. So pay attention to high volatility next week in the markets. All right, heading over here to XRP in the charts. First and foremost, we are going to take a look at the daily chart. So as we can see, the daily charts, our long-term momentum wave has just barely passed, literally the day before yesterday, into the green. So we're looking good there if we can get some continuation to the upside. Unfortunately, when we look at the chart, we are running into one of our resistance line. It's the spider line, and that one has been a pesky resistance as of recent. Resistance here, June 3rd, resistance here, June 16th, resistance here, June 30th, and now the resistance into July as well. Once we break this level of 25 cents, we'll see ourselves heading back up into the $2.50 level. And we do have more potential of doing so now that we at least have finally crossed over on the long-term bullish momentum wave here, the Wolfpack. Down below, we have our short-term momentum waves. Unfortunately, these have pumped to the upside, maxing out at the 100 level. They are looking like they need to have another reset to the downside. Positive news. What we're really looking for here is the white line, which is the midterm momentum wave, to continue riding high, while the short-term momentum wave takes a small reset and then rebounds to the upside. So watch the green line as it will come down, turn red, and then flip back to green. So we do need to punch through this $2.25 level. We come up here, then price will come down and retest and take off, while this does its retest and takes off, and while this continues to make its way to the upside. That's what we're looking for on the daily charts for XRP. If we lose it and price just decides to do a little dip and then rip to the downside, and this right here just comes to the downside as well, now you've got both short-term, mid-term, long-term momentum down. There is a possibility of returning back to this $1.90 level. But I am optimistic when it comes to XRP, so I would love to see this thing rip to the upside for sure. Taking a look at Bitcoin, we can see that our short-term momentum wave has officially reached the top, but the midterm momentum wave is continuing to make its way to the upside. Our long-term momentum wave is green, so we're showing bullish. You can see this is what we want to see out of XRP. We have that little dip and rip to the upside if we lose the level that we're at right now, because we finally got back into the green. Last time Bitcoin broke through to the upside was back here on April 20th and made an absolute run to the upside. Then it just now broke as of June 24th. It's kind of failing to continue its momentum to the upside. So we do need to see momentum to the upside. What we also see, as we were talking about in the article that we were just reading, we do have this resistance line here to the top. We have broken out of it. We came down. We do have 1 hour and 5 minutes left in this daily candle. Can it just be a retest? A deep spike wick to the downside, filling in the fair value gap that was right here anyway that needed to be filled, is filled, and then it pushes back to the upside. Continuation of this continues when we take a look at our weekly chart, our big giant bull flag that we have playing out. So this being the flagpole right here, the flagpole, this being the flag. And when you connect the flagpole to the flag, it gives us $146,000 target price for Bitcoin on a bull flag breakout to the upside. We also have that same exact scenario playing out over here on Ethereum. We can see the flagpole, which was right here, made this big move to the upside, consolidated. It actually ripped to the upside, stealing all the liquidity to the high, coming down, spiking to the low, stealing all the liquidity there. Now we have room to make the move to the upside. It also will get us back into our supply and demand zone, which does sit at $3,800 to $4,100 in Ethereum. So this looks like a very, very positive potential play out if we continue getting bullish momentum. As you can see, though, our long-term momentum is in the bearish section right now. It has not passed over the zero line when it comes to Ethereum. However, short-term momentum's looking strong to the upside. Checking back in with XRP on a smaller time frame. Let's go down for those of you guys that like more of the intraday trading or day trading. As we can see, XRP did get up into our price zones that we've been talking about here as a supply and demand. These supply and demands come to us from the June 16th, June 17th time frame. We've hit it once. Now we're back in it a second time, rejected off of it, came down to this lower level supply and demand zone, picked up a bunch of orders here, finally broke out of this level. So you can see when it broke down in here for the last 9 hours, it's been in here accumulating orders, finally breaking back out of this zone, making its way to the upside. Let's take a look down here. Our long-term momentum wave is still below the zero line. So we can see last time on XRP, we broke above the zero line was here. And that's when price was at about $2.20. And then that whole move went up into the 231. So that was a 10-cent move in this smaller time frame. Now, what's really great is if we bust out from where we're at right now, we're not even there yet. But if we're here, we have the same similar scenario play out, going from 215 to 230, a 15-cent move. So going from 220 to 235, which would be fantastic because then we would be breaking out above the $2.33 resistance line of this supply and demand zone. So we'll continue to watch and monitor that. You can see our short-term momentum wave has started to make its climb to the upside, showing positive strength there. Mid-term momentum just laying flat, though. That needs to kick it up to the upside. You can see when the short-term and mid-term momentum both get up here, that's when price can really start to surge. We also saw at that same point right here that we did break above the zero line. So bullish news, I want to see us break above $2.34, break above $2.34. That would continue our move up back to the 243 levels. If we lose it, we come down. Good news is there's a whole lot of support to the downside. If we break below this 220, we got support here at 218 to 216. And then there's a very, very, very strong support at 215. As long as World War III doesn't break out and we have some crazy, stupid drop to the downside, but we have 215, which will be acting as a very strong support level. As you can see, price broke above 215, came down, tested it again, made a run up, tested it again, made a run up. So we are in a very tight range right now that's very, very important to break out of, to the upside or the downside, depending on whether you're a long-term trader or a short trader.
Hey, bull runners, check this out. If you want to learn how to find the next 10x, 50x, or even 100x altcoin in this video, listen to this. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers.